George Eliot, the British author, said animals are such agreeable friends. They'll ask no questions and they'll pass no criticisms. Well, with 6 shelters and 60,000 animals annually, our next guest knows this intimately. I'm delighted to be joined by General Manager of LA Animal Services, Brenda Barnette. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Obviously, we're in strange times. The pandemic has not just affected humans, it's also affected animals. So what are some of the major changes that you've had to address at the LA Animal Services during this period in time?
Well, in order to keep our staff as safe as possible, we went to 12-hour shifts. And in order to do that, we had to reduce our shelter population, which, thanks to the great animal-loving Angelinos, we were able to do by well over 2,000 animals through adoptions, foster, return to owners, and rescue partners taking animals out. So that made it possible for us to temporarily close 2 of our facilities so that we could keep our staff on the 12-hour safer shifts.
Now, one of those facilities has been under construction for a while, so how are things happening there, and are there any plans to reopen either facility?
Well, we plan to reopen both facilities. North Central has been under construction for a couple of years. Staff was working out of modular units beside of the construction. So the current plan, and there are always construction delays, is that we'll get the facility back the end of September and then we'll start utilizing it. The other one, West Valley, we also want to reopen as soon as we can, and we're engaged in a community process now of taking input to see how creative we can be to get all the services we need and maybe shave a little bit off of the staffing needs because of the budget cuts.
Every time I have an opportunity to learn about the departments within the city of Los Angeles, I'm always fascinated by the expansive nature of what it is that they do. So naturally someone thinks LA, Animal Services, if there's a lost animal, it ends up in a shelter, someone goes and either retrieves the animal or adopts the animal or something. But obviously there's a lot more to what LA Animal Services does.
There's a lot, and there's a lot of amazing community involvement too. We're sort of studying the situation now because the big national groups have been telling us for a long time that if an animal gets out in its own neighborhood, it will get home faster if the neighbors help the neighbors.
Oh.
So we're watching that. Nextdoor is a great app for people to use if they have a lost dog. We also set up a Lost and Found Facebook page, and there are several others. There's a San Fernando one, and I can't remember all the names of them, but there are 2 or 3 different Lost and Found pages. And as I'm watching them, I see that if the animal stays close to home, it's likely going to get home within 24 or 30 hours. If it ends up in the shelter, the first thing that's going to happen is the owner's going to search the neighborhood, and then they're going to say, well, if it's not here, where's it going to be? So it's going to take them a few days to figure out that the animal might be in the shelter, even though all of our animals are posted online. People just don't think about that right away.
So in this pandemic, there have been a lot of news about people embracing the idea of animal companionship to help psychologically, to help emotionally, and to just enrich this experience. Have you noticed an enormous amount of adoptions within LA Animal Services, and are you worried that that is going to maintain its integrity once we're all a little bit more free?
I think we've definitely seen, matter of fact, we ran out of foster animals at one point, but now we're getting more animals in, so we're trying to go back to those people and give them that foster opportunity. We've also done a lot of adoptions, and the way that we've been trying to help people because they can't come to the shelter, they can't get the kind of advice because of social distancing and safety. Our Director of Volunteer Services set up some Zoom meetings. So she has Zoom meetings regarding dogs, bunnies, and cats. And she has experts on so that people can call in or ask questions live and get help with their animals. So we've had a couple people write in and say, oh my gosh, that was the best thing ever, because we thought we were going to have to bring that dog back, and we were able to solve that problem with the advice that we got.
Really?
Yeah, so we're trying to be as creative as we can and engage the community. I'm very concerned, and I think animal welfare across the United States is very concerned about what's going to happen when the evictions start. So there are other things that we're starting to do to try to help people keep their companion animals. For example, we've got 2 food banks set up now, one at Chesterfield Square and one at East Valley. They are by appointment. They can come and get pet food, for their companion animals if they're, having financial troubles. We're also working on a program to help keep the companions in the homes by providing some veterinary services. If it's the cost of a veterinary exam or treatment, and if they had help with that, they could still keep their pet. So we're getting ready to utilize that to help our New Hope adoption partners if they take an animal that has medical needs, so that we can help them with the care of that animal, at least enough to get them started. So we're working on ways to help the community keep their companion animals, as we know the economic downfall is going to be devastating.
So is New Hope a separate nonprofit organization that works with animals?
Great question. It's about 300 nonprofits.
Oh, okay.
We have, in the city of Los Angeles, we have about 300 nonprofit rescue groups who come and take some of our animals out of our shelters and find homes for them. The community in LA is pretty amazing, animal lovers. We have a lot of community involvement from people who love to do that kind of stuff. And really, without this community involvement, whether it's the New Hope Partners, we had an amazing thing happen over the 4th of July where people were out in the streets with scanners, and they were scanning lost dogs and getting them home because they'd been frightened by the fireworks. I saw pictures of people who had crates set up in their living room, and they called it a safe house, where a dog could stay overnight trying to reunite it with its family. And it really made a huge difference. I mean, we usually get well over 1,000 animals, or around 1,000 animals in the 4th of July.
Run on the 4th, right?
Yeah, that get over that weekend. But this year it was under 100 because we had so much help and assistance from the community.
You're a little bit of a trendsetter when it comes to naming programs, because your foster program was actually shelter at home, which we all now know having a different definition entirely.
Right. Well, you know what happens is people find dogs or cats on the street, and they say, oh, I don't want to take it to the shelter. So we said, okay, take it home, but register it with us, have it checked to see if it has a microchip, give us a picture, we'll post it on our website, and everyone will know, not everyone will know your name and address, but they'll know it's in a home, and if they see it on the website, then we'll contact you. You can bring it in and not be involved in the meeting, because we have to protect people's safety and security, so we don't give out names and addresses, but that way the person can come and see if that truly is their animal. At the end of 30 days, if the person still has the animal and the owner hasn't turned up, they can adopt that animal at no charge. Or they can bring it back to us and we'll find it another home.
What are the policies with LA Animal Services in regards to spaying and neutering any animal that comes into the shelter?
Well, we spay and neuter dogs, cats, and bunnies before they're adopted out. So a lot of times what's happening with the kittens is people will find litters from a feral cat,
right,
and they will socialize the litter, so they're no longer feral cats. So this time of year, when what we call kitten season, we're usually absolutely swamped, just on overflow. This year, once again, the community is stepping up. We've got at least 3 major cat rescue groups, and I think 2 or 3 other medium-sized ones, who are taking a lot of those kittens, and we are providing the spay and neuter for them, but they're doing the work. They're doing the bottle feeding and putting them in foster care, and we still have some in the shelter too. So we're sort of sharing the load right now, because there was no way with our staffing limitations and all that we could have handled kitten season the way we handled it last year. So again, it's the community coming together.
It's amazing that there's such a thing as kitten season.
I know.
If someone wants to get some more information, the best way is?
They can look on our website, laanimalservices.com. People send me emails all the time. It's brenda.barnette, B-A-R-N-E-T-T-E, at lacity.org. We're pretty available, and we try to be, and I think that's very important for animal services.
I really appreciate all this great information and your time, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.